Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me. Come and fly away with me.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. You guys already know, judging by the title, I'm here with another story time. And I just want to put a little disclaimer out here because I've been getting comments about how my story times are too long, I'm not getting to the point, blah blah blah, sissy c'est la. And I'm like, are you coming from TikTok? Like, are you like a TikTok babe? Like, you know, if you are a person who like reels and TikTok and short stories, like that's okay. But like me, like when I explain things, and I already told you guys in my previous videos, I'm just thinking about what happened while I'm explaining it to you guys. Like, so yeah, I drift off, I talk about different things and stuff like that, but I like to give you guys the story wet, okay, not dry. So if you girls like to get the story dry, then I don't think this is the story time for you. But everybody else that like it nice, wet and juicy, okay, this is the story time for you. So the story starts off like this. Okay, you guys already know, every time I say the story starts off like this, y'all know it's gonna be what? Spicy. So according to the title, I think I'm gonna name this title Jealousy. Jealousy and Envy, okay? Who said that recently in a show I was watching? Oh yeah, J-Lo from Bad Girls Club, but she's on Baddies now. She was like jealousy, okay, and envy. And I want to name the main character in this story Jealousy so bad, but because I want her to catch this shade, like I want her to put a mitten on and catch the shade, you feel me? I'm not even finna like name her, like forget it, like Jealousy. I'm gonna give her a name because once you guys hear this name, and once she hear this name, if she comes across this video, because she does be lurking, she'll know it's about her, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start off by giving her a name now just because I already tapped into it, but y'all already know I'm gonna start the story from the beginning. So we're gonna name her Elephant. And I'm not naming her Elephant because she's fat. She's not fat. She's actually very slim. She's tall. She looks like a model. But I'm naming her Elephant because she's obsessed with elephant. That's her favorite animal. And she named her design brand after elephant. She just kind of switched up the name a little bit. So once she hears this story and she hears that she was named Elephant, then she already know the shade is for you. Okay? Okay. So I'm actually about to do my nails right now while I tell you guys the story time, because my nails have been looking so hideous and I'm tired of having butterfingers and I want to go out later. So I actually got these press-ons from Amazon. I'll put like a video here because I'm making a reels about it. And girl, these things are sturdy, okay? They are thick, they are nice, French, simple length. I added some diamonds to them that I also got from Amazon. So yeah, I'm about to put these on while I chop it up with y'all, right? Alright, so if you guys have watched some of my story times, like The Brothers, what else story times I kind of touch base? Oh yeah, that's probably the only story time that I touched base that I moved away, right? So I moved away, you guys, right? I moved from New York to Virginia around the pandemic time, right? And my newfound relationship, period, point blank. And I moved away with Trini from The Brothers story time. So I moved from New York to Virginia and I'm in a new city. One thing I didn't really think I would experience is how the South is not New York City. So New York City is such a diverse place to be. You see everything, and I was raised here, so I've seen everything. I haven't seen everything, but I've seen everything New York has to offer, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to, you know, different types of lifestyles, people, etc. The city never sleeps. So when I came to Virginia, everybody in Virginia was kind of looking at us New Yorkers like wow factors, like, oh my gosh, you're from New York, you're so interesting, you're like, I didn't know, like in New York it's so hard to be an it girl because everyone's an it girl. You turn to your left, there's 20 million it girls. You turn to your right, there's 15 million more it girls, you know what I'm saying, in their own right and uniqueness and identities. So it's not like it's a competitive Yeah, it is very competitive to be a girl out here. Like, you really got to be like socially network connected type of thing to kind of be like an it girl, right? So when I got to Virginia, everybody was kind of on body, like, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of feeling like I was in Haiti, because when I went to Haiti, it was the only time I got princess treatment. So the only people I knew in Virginia, I met through my boyfriend at the time, right? He introduced me to everybody. I didn't know anyone out there. The culture in Virginia is very segregated, so the black people hang out with each other, the white people hang out with each other. The only time you're going to see them integrated is maybe at Walmart or an activity place to eat or something like that, right? So I couldn't just meet people. I had to meet people through people I knew. It wasn't like New York where you could walk out in the street and meet people. You're not going to see anybody in the street. Like, it's not that type of scene. So my boyfriend introduces me to his cousin. I'm not going to give her a name because she's not really important in this story time right now. Is she? I'm just going to give her a name so I can stop saying my boyfriend cousin, right? So Naomi, because she was an actual model. Like, and when I tell you, like, I don't fuck with her because of some stuff that we went through, but she is like top tier, like model. Like, if she wasn't living in Virginia, she'd be far. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you're the right package and the wrong address. So I'm gonna call her Naomi Campbell because her walk is fierce, her catalog is fierce, and yeah, she's a fierce bitch. So Naomi has one of her best friends, like her little clique, and Elephant is a part of that clique. So they're part of kind of like the creative scene in Virginia, even though, you know, they're not as creative as what I've seen, but they're the most where they are from. So he figured if he clicked me up with them, then I'll be able to kind of like meet people and tap in, etc., etc. So when I meet Elephant and Naomi, the vibes is cool. They're just as excited to have me around as everybody else is making me feel. So I felt like, damn, maybe I'm about to really find my tribe right now, because, you know what I'm saying, these people actually appreciate me. They appreciate what I do. They appreciate my work, my art. You know, I'm a designer. Shop that day, harasnyc.com. I just lost the teddy bear bikini set, but yeah. So I'm like, I'm excited now because, like, people are fucking with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they love me for what I do, etc. So Elephant says that she's actually trying to become a designer too. She's actually an artist, so she draws and paints, but she learned how to sew. I don't know if it was through like something. She learned how to sew a little bit, so she was trying to kind of like, you know, learn how to be a designer, and she started making stuff, etc. So I'm like, oh, great. It's nice to have like designer friends. You know what I'm saying? Even though I have none now because I have so many designer horror stories, but it's nice to have designer friends. So I was really excited to meet her. I was like, oh, that's exciting. So, you know, we can network, we can plug in. She obviously was playing her design skills a little more up than Latte. She probably was playing her design skills. Well, she was playing it a little more up than they were. But we'll get to that, right? So where do I start? With the jealousy. The jealousy. These girls be green with envy, okay? Just like my Baltimore. So Naomi and Elephant initiate me into the clique, right? So I'm hanging out with them. We're going out, we're doing brunch, we're going to the club. Like, it's a clique. Like, it's given like Mean Girls, but like we're not mean or whatever, but we're clicking. Like, it's girls stepping out, whatever. People coming to my house to get dressed and going out. I'm going to theirs. We're outside. They're showing me around Virginia. They're the cool kids in Virginia, so it was like only right that I hang out with them, I guess. Like, my boyfriend was trying to make a scene or whatever. So I think they kind of got a kick out of hanging out with me, because I don't, like, a lot of people kept, like, Virginia people, that's what I'm trying to say, I'm stuttering. Virginia people are very humble. Like, they will come up to you and like be nice to you and introduce themselves and talk to you and, hey, I'm so and so, I think you look great, blah blah blah. You don't find that type of hospitality in New York. Everyone is kind of like mean mugging you, bombastic side eye, etc, etc. So when I was in Virginia, it was like people just was always coming up to me, introducing themselves to me, and it was like, wow, like this is this is beautiful, like the people are so wholesome out there, you know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that when I was out with them. A lot of people were like coming up and gathering around us all the time. It was so weird. I didn't know how to take it, right? But I was loving it, right? So this is where things start to get a little shady and messy, right? So Naomi always throws an annual fashion show. You know what I'm saying? She throws a fashion show in Virginia. All the kids come out. She invites different vendors, designers, etc. She asked me, like, I moved out to Virginia maybe like only a month before her fashion show. Maybe like a week in that I was living there, she asked me like, hey, would you want to like be one of the designers showcasing in the fashion show? Like, I really love your work, and would you be able to like, you know, sponsor me a dress to wear, etc, etc. So I'm like, you know what, no problem. I'm used to doing fashion shows. Like, I don't have a lot of that stuff on my Instagram and stuff anymore because I've archived it, but I've done a lot of fashion shows, like college fashion shows, New York Fashion Week, but back in the day, right? So I'm like, oh, let me get my feet wet again. I would love to do the fashion show. I have so many pieces. Like, when I tell you I have so many designs, like I have racks and racks and racks and racks of designs, like, that I plan to do a sample sale one day soon, right? But I just can't let go of them. So I was like, yeah, let me go down to New York, get some of my designs, and then I probably whip some new stuff up and I'll showcase for you, right? So now this is where I should have noticed the first red flag. But it's now that I'm looking back on the story, I noticed that this was the first initial red flag. So Naomi invites me to do the fashion show. One day, me, Elephant, and Naomi are sitting down hanging out. I don't know what we were doing. We were doing something. We used to do a lot of different things. And I started to speak to Naomi about the fashion show, how I'm heading down to New York to pick up pieces. How many pieces do you want to be shown on the runway so I can know what I could come down with, etc, etc. So Elephant kind of hops into the conversation and she's like, you're doing a show? You're doing the fashion show? Naomi's fashion show? Like, but like, it wasn't a like exciting like, you're doing this show. It was kind of like a, you're doing the show? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it was shady. It was shady. At the time, because they were treating me so nice, I didn't see it as shade. I just probably saw it as curiosity. But yeah, she kind of like was like, you know, asking like, but like on some like, oh really type of vibe, right? So Naomi kind of looked like, she's a very diplomatic person. Like, she has very good PR skills, so she knows how to de-escalate situations and re-navigate. So she did something like that. I had to know from then that there was an issue with her and me, with Elephant and me. So Naomi proceeds to explain that, like, you know, Elephant is doing the show too as a designer. So Elephant proceeds to be like, oh, well, I thought I was going to be the only designer presenting at the show. So Naomi's like, no, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm having all types of designers, etc. And Elephant is like, Naomi's like, you know that it's a fashion show, it's going to be other fashions. She's like, yeah, but the women's wear, all these other designers, they have men, I guess they had categories, men's wear, children's wear, accessories, whatever. I guess she thought that she was going to be the only like making outfits, dresses, women's wear, garments type of designer there. I didn't even know all those details. I just know she asked me to do the show. I said, I'm gonna come through to do the show. I didn't know if you had categories or if it was, you know, I didn't know anything of that nature. So Naomi's like doing her little PR thing, trying to explain to her. I'm on the sidelines like, what's the issue? Like, so in the end, she's like, oh, you know, Elephant's like, oh, I guess there's just gonna be two of us then. Well, I'm closing the show then. I'm closing the show. So I'm just like, okay, you can close the show, open the show, go midway through the show. I don't care. Like, at that time, like I said, I wasn't looking at it as shade. It was just a little, because I didn't really know these girls, but it was just a little like off-putting to me, right? So the week of the show comes, right? Y'all already know I pull up with my design day. fake. I'm about to post a little clip right here of me and my girls at the show. You know what I'm saying? Had to come out, show outfit day, Haras Nyc. So the week of the show, Elephant invites me and Naomi over to her house, and she wanted us to kind of like give her insight on, you know, her designs or whatever. She also asked me if I can show her what I was showing, but I kept telling her like I really didn't know what I was showing because I didn't go to New York yet. Me and my boyfriend had planned to go back to New York literally like 2 days before the show to bring back the pieces and handle some other stuff. So I didn't know what I was gonna pick until I got back home and went into my basement and kind of looked through my stuff to see what kind of vibe or, you know, what I was doing. So I didn't know what I was bringing. So I knew there was some stuff that I wanted to make, and I had bought some fabric, but I never know. Like, that's why I said I don't like when friends ask me what I'm wearing, because I never know. Like, I go off of energy, like, you know, how I'm feeling in the moment. So we go over there, and she has a whole bunch of fabric, like mad fabric, and she told us that she spent like almost $1,000 on all this fabric. Like, she went to Cali, because I remember she went to Cali like the week before, and she was like, she wore all this fabric in Cali. So I was like, okay, y'all, I'm missing a part. Mentioning Cali, right? This Cali was actually the first red flag. Remember I told you said I said she went to Cali to buy fabric, right? So she in Cali buying fabric. She calls me while she's in the fabric store. This is a small sidebar, right? She calls me in Cali while she's buying fabric. She's like, oh, FaceTiming me. Oh, do you see anything you want? Everything in here is so nice. She was like, oh, what do you see that you like? I seen this. I was like, oh, I need this. I need this. Like, I need that. Like, I'll send you the money. I'll sell you the money right now, whatever. Get that for me. So she's like, oh, what are you gonna make out of that? Like, oh, this fabric like is so difficult to use, etc. blah blah. Like, you know, just being a pessimist. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to make some swimsuits out that joint. What the hell? I'm about to make a bathing suit out that joint, which I did. And that's me in Virginia in my bathing suit flexing. That was like the first sample I did, right? So she was like, oh no, that's impossible. How is anyone gonna make a swimsuit out of this? Like, it's not even functional, blah blah blah. Baby, you can't make a swimsuit out of this. You, not me. I can do whatever I want. I can make nothing out of something. I can make anything. Like, if y'all go to my Instagram, y'all see a lot of my creations. Go down to my reel section, etc. right? But I'm gonna start doing more of my creations on YouTube too, so y'all can really see what these hands do with nails on. I was supposed to be doing my nails. I'm not even doing my nails. I'm gonna do my nails. But nevertheless, that was the first red flag, because you're a hater. I hate when people try to discourage me. If I want to do something, if you don't believe in it, cool. You don't have to try to discourage me though, or be a pessimist about it. So that's red flag number 1. So let's go back to red flag number 2 now, right? So now me and Naomi's at her house. We checking out her stuff. Like I said, it's just mad fabric draped around the mannequins. One thing she had was mad supplies. You know what I'm saying? I had just moved down there, and I didn't really have a lot of my supplies with me. So she used to always be like, oh, you can come over here and sew, etc. But my boyfriend had ended up buying me all new supplies like within that month anyways. So now she had mad mannequins and stuff, and all of them, like, you put fabric on a mannequin, it's gonna look nice. Doesn't mean that it's an outfit. So she had all this beautiful fabric just draped around mannequins, but nothing was sewn, nothing was cohesive, nothing was put together. So Naomi was worried now. Naomi's like, girl, like, you know, the show is in like 4 days, it's at the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? When are you gonna finish all this? She redirecting the conversation to me. Well, Sarah didn't even go to New York yet, and she don't even know what she's showing. First of all, mind your business. Second of all, my stuff is already made. I make stuff. I'm a designer, so I make stuff. This is what I do. I do it as a hobby. I do it as a business. This is what I do. I'm gonna make stuff all the time, so I'm gonna always have designs. And then I'm such a great designer that I can make things very, very quickly. This dress right here is the dress I made for Naomi, and I made that dress in a night. I literally made that. I started that dress like around 8 o'clock one night, and then next morning I'm like, come pick up your dress. Didn't have to do no alteration, nothing. Not trying to toot my own horn, because I do have a lot of things that I could work on and upgrade. Of course, a lot of skills that I want to learn, but girl, there's a difference, okay? You're learning to be a designer. There's a difference. But at the time, like I said, she was upping herself like, I am a designer, and which you should. Because when I first started designing and people tried to tell me I wasn't a designer, I'm like, I am a designer. So I definitely prop her up for that. But then guess what? You also got to put the work in. You can't just drape stuff around a mannequin and then want the accolades. The reason why I can call myself a designer is because I've lost countless amount of sleep, then messed up my finger, then had needles jammed into my finger from the machine, then blood, sweat, and tears to do this for a lot of years. You know what I'm saying? So boom. Anyways, feeling like Nicki Minaj with these sons over here. You feel me? What am I talking about? But yeah, she was watching too much face, like, oh, Sarah don't got her stuff yet, don't worry about me, Sarah don't even got her stuff. Like, girl, this conversation is about you. You invited us here to speak about you, to get our advice about you and what you're producing, not me. So third red flag, boom, right there. So Naomi leaves. She's a little worried. She expresses to me, like, on our way home, like, girl, I'm a little worried that she's not gonna finish this because, you know, I had her make my boyfriend a jacket last year and she never finished it. Like, she still has the fabric, has everything, never finished it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, just saying, like, basically saying that, like, Elephant mostly do, like, seamstress work. Like, she knows how to sew, she can fix stuff, hem stuff, etc. But, like, when it comes to making a full garment from start to finish, she hasn't really successfully accomplished that. So I'm just like, girl, if that's not where you at, then why are you trying to do this big showcasing at the fashion show? If anything, you should do some vending. That's what I should have did. I shouldn't have even showcased at the fashion show. I should have did vending, and I could have did both, but long story short, me and my boyfriend wasn't dating by the time the fashion show came, so I didn't have anybody out there to run the vending table for me and sell my, like, swimsuits, sell my stuff, and for me to showcase the garments and get the models ready. I just couldn't. Who was I gonna trust with the money? Who was I gonna trust to get this done? You know, I was kind of out there by myself, but that's another story for another day. So I'm saying that to say, like, if you can't make full-on garments to showcase on a runway in time, why don't you just make little outfits and sell them on the side at the vending tables, etc.? But that's all I'm thinking in my head. Like, why are you trying to shoot for the stars? I never shoot for the stars if I know I'm not ready, because I don't want to fall on my face. You know what I'm saying? That's like me going on a trip with no money. If I'm not prepared, then I can't do it. Why would you prepare yourself to fail? There's a difference between trying and building through preparation and just going to leap head first because you let an ego overshadow reality. So here comes the fashion show day. So the day of the fashion show, I got all my pieces, I got everything ready to go. I had everything so ready that I decided to just make jello shots for the fashion show. I was like, I'm gonna make jello shots, like just to keep things fun. So the morning of, while I'm making jello shots and stuff, Elephant calls me. She calls me and she's like, hey, I've been up all night, I haven't slept, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't have, you know, some stuff ready. Could really use your help. Can you come by to my place and kind of help me, because, you know, the show starts in a few hours, blah blah blah. So I'm just like, how much work you got to get done? This is the same thing with my Bad Girls Club Aruba story. Like, people just depending on you, and you, like, girl, I gotta get myself ready for the show. Like, I manage my time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time set out to help you make shit. But I guess, like, I didn't want to be a bad person. At that time, they were treating me very well, minus the little red flag. So I was like, all right, I'll come there. And I was so upset because me and my boyfriend was fighting at the time. So he took the car keys. So I was not even mobile. I was getting a ride from someone else to go to the fashion show, because the fashion show was in a whole nother, what would you call that? Not a whole nother state, but, like, damn, I'm from New York, so I know boroughs, but, like, I guess a whole nother city. It was in a whole nother city, because we lived in Virginia Beach, and the fashion show was in Richmond, or Hampton. No, it was in Hampton. Yes, Hampton, Virginia. So now I'm like, okay, I'm getting a 2-hour ride to go there. You know, she lived in a whole nother freaking part of Virginia. She lived in Portsmouth or Chesapeake, somewhere. At the end of the day, me, Naomi, and her all lived in different cities. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't live close to each other. Like, you have to drive out 30-40 minutes to get to each other. So you're basically asking me to come 30-40 minutes that way to help you. I have to get to the fashion show myself and get myself ready, etc. So I asked my ride if she can take me to Chesapeake or Portsmouth, whatever it was. And then she was like, well, I can't make 2 stops, so it was one of the others. So I was like, all right, well, Elephant, you're gonna have to guarantee me a ride to the fashion show. And she was like, yeah, of course, I'll just I'll borrow my father's truck, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So now I get to her house and I'm looking at the stuff and I'm like, y'all, everything was the same way when we left fucking with Naomi the other night. Like, nothing changed. I done went to New York, a whole 7-hour drive, came back, round trip, made Naomi's dress overnight, made gel shots and everything in between, probably smoked a lot of ganja, like, and you're still here at the same place. Like, and y'all, I get it. I've been stuck before. I've been stuck, I've been lost, I've been all that before. But one thing I don't do is sign up for things that I cannot show up for. So I'm like, girl, like, you're not even close to done. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, even with me helping you, do you have like things sketched out? I don't even know what you're trying to do with these things. Like, nothing is pinned together. Like, there's something called a tech pack and a cutter's must, right? A tech pack and a cutter's must when it comes to fashion, which is basically a blueprint. You ever seen a blueprint for a house? That's what a tech pack and a cutter's must. You need those when you have people assisting you in designing. People can't just assist you without those, because it doesn't matter how much you explain to me what you need done from me. I need detailed instructions, because we're working with so many. We're working with stitch size, we're working with different fabrics, we're working with different patterns, we're working with too much for me. I need a play-by-play. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be asking you 13 million questions to get one fucking scene going. So I'm like, okay, girl, so like, I don't really know what to tell you to do, but 9 times out of 10, because we have a 2-hour drive and the show starts in, like, at that point it was probably like maybe 1 in the afternoon. The show probably started like 7, which is not a lot of time when you gotta drive 2 hours out. I was like, you gotta take all this stuff with you. Take it with you. You have to take it with you. And you need to take your needle and your thread, which is what I used to do when I never used to finish, because I had that time ever when I never used to finish stuff and I have to fly out or go somewhere. I used to take my needle and thread with my outfit. Y'all seen that in the Gag City, where I took my needle and thread, my outfit, and finished it on the trip. I said, girl, you need to finish these outfits on the way. We need to go now. We need to get there, because we all had hair and makeup scheduled. All this different stuff was going on. There's so much to factor in the couple of hours before the show actually starts. And I wasn't trying to miss out on nothing, because I did a lot of work myself to be prepared. So I'm not trying to miss out on all this stuff because of you. I was like, just let me know what you need me to do. I can help you hand sew some stuff. But at the time, y'all already know me. Long nail mommy. I always have on them stiletto long nails. I told y'all that. So it was kind of like, yeah, I could sew with nails when it comes to what I'm doing for myself, because I know what I'm doing already. But like, sitting here, like, I got all these diamonds on my nails. I did all of my hand sewing before I bedazzled my nails, so that the thread don't get caught up and slow me down. So I'm strategic with my shit. You feel me? So now I got bedazzled nails on and I got a hand sew for you. But whatever, I'm gonna help you. So she gathered up all the fabric. As I'm helping her take the fabric off of the mannequins, the fabric is just falling off. I'm like, oh my god, these are not even pieces. This is just fabric. She had this technique. The only thing she knew how to do. Y'all remember when the girls used to wear the scarf, that season where the girls had the scarf around the neck, which was basically like a rectangle scarf and you just tie it around the neck, and they did it in different fabrics and it looked like a look. That's all she did. She did that with every single fabric. Everything was just tied around the neck and the breast like a scarf, and she had no bottom piece, no dresses, no pants, no nothing, just fabric cut like a scarf. Like, girl, let it go. Like let it go. Like this is why you're not succeeding right now, because you're stuck. Move forward. So we get to the fashion show. And now that we're at the show, I have to do a little sewing in the ride there, because she was the one driving, so she couldn't sew. And basically she just kept having me sew the scarves, basically the wrap around the neck. So I was just sewing the one seam line down each fabric, trying to get that together for her. So we get to the fashion show, and Naomi's pissed because, you know, I'm walking in with tons of garment bags, because, you know, I have all my pieces ready to go. And freaking Elephant, she has her sewing machine with her, mad suitcases, she's setting up. Naomi's shaking her head like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you not even, mind you, she was supposed to make a dress for Naomi to wear as well for the fashion show. Naomi's dress wasn't even done, but at least I had made Naomi a dress, so she wore my dress the whole night. And my dress was a gown, which was not suitable for her to wear the whole night. Like, she told me she was just gonna wear my dress for an appearance, like in between mid-session, because it was yellow. You know, you've seen the picture. It was not a dress that you kind of could walk in all night and host and run up and down, but she had no choice to, because she didn't have anything else to wear, because the ready-to-wear dress that Elephant was supposed to make, she did not make it. So nothing was done. At that point, I had to tell Elephant, hey girl, you know, I gotta go get my hair and makeup done right now, and I gotta get my models ready, but do your best, and if anything, dress the models. Use them as mannequins and create the garments on the models, and do the best you can. I'll see you for showtime. This is like probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours before showtime. I couldn't take on her stress. I had to move forward. I already had my own stuff I was dealing with, and I had helped her as much as I could. When it comes time to showcasing, Naomi comes to me like, girl, can you close out the show? And I'm like, isn't Elephant closing out the show? And she's like, Elephant is having a nervous breakdown. Like, she's in the bathroom crying right now. Like, she's not showcasing nothing. I'm like, really? Oh my God. I was like, I should go check on her. She's like, no, her boyfriend's with her. Just leave her. Like, we need to get the show going. Like, we don't have time for this. So I'm like, yeah, I'll close out the show, whatever. So I was supposed to go on, like, at that time, I was supposed to go on in like 15 minutes, but then I waited. I didn't mind. I had to wait a little longer. I got to eat or whatever. So I closed out the show. So after the show closes out, it was a nice show, y'all. You already know my pieces went down in front way, blah, blah, blah. If I have some video, I'll post it, but I don't know if I have any more video than what the one I showed you, because it was such a long time ago. It was like pandemic time, y'all. And I done had a new phone since then. So even when I say I want to post pictures, y'all, I just can't be finding them sometimes. So now, we end off the fashion show. Like I said, the people in Virginia are so wholesome. At one point, I was standing there and I turned around and there were tons of people around me just waiting to either congratulate me, introduce themselves, inquire about purchasing items they seen on the runway, inviting me out, all this different stuff. Like, it was like in New York, you have to put the effort into network, but out there your work speaks for you. So because my work was so good, people were just waiting like to speak to me. It was something I never experienced before in my life. I was like, wow, this is like so surreal. I felt so grateful and appreciative that my work was being seen and it was being like received in such a great way, right? So the fashion show's over, you know, I go to check on Elephant, and she's crying. You could tell she's been crying. Her eyes are puffy. She's a very fair-skinned girl, and her face is red, and she's like telling Naomi like, oh, I'm sorry I couldn't show up, blah blah blah. I'm asking her if she's okay. She's kind of like giving me like, yeah, I'm fine, but like, it wasn't, it's kind of like, get out my face, I'm fine, get out my face, like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, let me just leave this girl alone because she's obviously not in the mood right now. All in all, we leave, shit is swell, right? Y'all, I think it's been about like, what, 30 minutes now. This is where we get to the big boom, 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 boom part. Like, y'all know I have to work y'all up the way to the end, the finishing turmoil of the story. It's not like I be trying to drag it out, but y'all be needing to know what happened before so y'all can understand why what happened has happened, right? So we fast forward from the fashion show. The weeks following the fashion show, maybe like given like 1 to 2 weeks in between that time, there was a lot of chaos because obviously we were all supposed to get paid. Money is moving around. Naomi, as wonderful as a model she is not a good event planner when it comes to numbers and, you know, all that stuff. So all her stuff, the money was not good. Like, there was a lot of issues when it came to the money. She had no choice but to pay me though, because I went all the way to New York to get my pieces. Like, you're gonna have to pay me. So apparently she paid me the same amount of money that she paid Elephant, but apparently Elephant invested into the show, so Elephant was supposed to see a bigger, I guess, net profit, and the fact that me and her had the same amount of pay. But what I didn't understand is like I didn't know why I kept being dragged into this. Like, I did my part, pay me, y'all handle y'all shit. But it seemed like Elephant was like upset, and she kept putting, like, she called me on three-way with Naomi, like, oh, how much did you get paid? Yes, that wasn't the correct amount because I got that amount too, blah 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 blah. And I felt like the this is like, what, the fourth red flag now. The conversation was so shady, bro. Like, because she was on the phone and she just kept saying stuff like, oh, when it comes to our business proceedings, we're the only ones investing. People shouldn't be seeing this amount. And she just kept saying people and you people this, and I don't care how close, if who family, who relationship, people. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about, obviously talking about me. Like, I felt it, but I was just like, like I said, I was going through my own situation, and me and my boyfriend was going through a breakup. I didn't, like, I'm always, that's why I don't like being in relationships or toxic situations or toxic relationships, not just relationships, but toxic situations, because my head ain't on straight. Remember the same thing with Bad Girls Club Jamaica? People play me like a fiddle when I'm distracted by mine. Like, if me and a man has a situation and it's a bad situation, I can't see sheep in wolf clothing the way I have the clarity to see them otherwise. I can't see bitches coming from left. I be so focused on this that I be missing all the shade. Like, I be like blind, like Stevie Wonder, like, cause I be looking back at these situations like, girl, like, how did you not, like, now, like, first red flag, I'm out the door, but there was so much that happened. It was like, girl, like, and that's how I'm saying, like, I need, like, man trouble me can't do them to distract them. Like, they distract your career, they distract your other relationships, family ships, friendships, like, too much. Because had I had my head on straight, we wouldn't even be up to red flag number 4. You feel me? So that was red flag number 4, throwing shade at me about the business stuff, right? But this is what I don't understand about people that don't like you. People that don't like you, they keep you so close. Because even though this girl was shading me and she was throwing all these red flags and stuff like that, she was still always reaching out to me, always connecting with me, always, like, the same with the girl from Bad Girl from Jamaica. What's her name? Big Back. Same with Big Back. Same with Jezebel from Bad Girls Cover Blue. But, like, they will stay. That's why I be confused, and that's why they say your guy's not a confused guy. So if you're confused, hit the door, because I be like, yo, these girls show me both dosages. Like, they don't fuck with me, but then they're all in my face fucking with me, if that makes sense. So maybe a week after that, it's her birthday. It's Elephant birthday. She's having this birthday dinner, etc. I'm supposed to go, everybody's supposed to go, etc. We kind of moving past the whole fashion show thing, moving forward. The day of her birthday dinner, I had a little incident with Trini, and I couldn't go. But being that I was supposed to get ready at Elephant's house, we all were supposed to get ready, I kind of called to let her know, like, no, not that I just called. She was on FaceTime with me when the incident happened, and then the phone cut off. So she kept calling me, and then I called her back. Like, you know, they trying to see what's up with me, and I'm telling them, like, hey, I'm not pulling up, some shit just went down. So,
sidebar, one thing I forgot to mention in the video was that further down the line, me and Elephant ended up getting into it a little bit more. You guys are going to see. But during one of our disagreements, she ends up mentioning this birthday situation. So you see how I had an incident and I said I couldn't go? She literally says in a disagreement further down the line, oh, you even messed up my birthday dinner. Like, how did I mess up your birthday dinner if I didn't go? That just means that whatever happened to me and I expressed to y'all what happened and why I can't go, y'all sat down and made it the focus and topic of your dinner because I wasn't even there. I literally just told you I wasn't coming and why I wasn't coming. So I don't understand how I could possibly mess up your dinner. But again, jealousy and envy. The same with Jezebel. I messed up her birthday. I didn't do anything to these girls. Like, I didn't do anything to you, mama. I didn't even make it to your dinner. But yeah, I just wanted to drop that in there.
Naomi was trying to see, like, hey, do you want me to come over? You want me to come get you? Like, what can I do? Whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm not really gonna go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get out of here, whatever. I was trying to just figure out somewhere to go at that point. All in all, I missed out on her birthday dinner. Cool. The next day comes and something bigger ended up happening, and Naomi, she calls Elephant. I call Naomi for help, and Naomi calls Elephant, and they both come to my rescue, I guess, right? I'm not even gonna say I guess, because I was very grateful that they came. So even with the stuff that happened afterwards, I still need to be grateful that I had people to help me, because you have to remember, when people are helping you, even if the person may not be the ideal person, they're helping you because God is putting a vessel in them to do so. So the help sometimes don't even come from the person. It comes from the spirit that has been transferred into them to help guide you, your guardian angels and stuff. So I'm very grateful that they did come to help me, right? So the situation I was in, I basically, like, needed to get out of it ASAP. So at that point, I wasn't living at home in Virginia anymore. I was living with Naomi. Naomi offered me somewhere to stay. I was living with Naomi. Being that I was living with Naomi in her room, and then, you know, her mom was like a priestess and stuff. They did like sermons in the house, a lot of church stuff. So, you know, I'm a person that I need to sew. You know, living at home, I can sew whenever I want. I got my sewing station, sewing studio set up in my living room, etc. So it was kind of like, damn, like, I don't know what I'm going to do right now, because right now I'm making money from designing. But if I don't have a place that I can design or an outlet to design, I'm just a sitting duck. There's nothing I can do or contribute for myself or whatever. So I'm trying to figure all that stuff out. Elephant comes to me and she's like, hey, you know, I have a friend who's opening up an art studio, like an art house in Portsmouth, Virginia, and she would love to have like all type of creative people come through, and you know, you can rent a space there. It was so affordable. I think each space, like the room, there's like different rooms were like $100, $150, $200, and I'm talking about per month, like cheap as fuck. Like you can find that nowhere. So I'm like, oh, I would love to rent like something or whatever. At least now it's like, even though I'm staying with Naomi, I can have somewhere to go and sew. You know what I'm saying? Like, and work. And I had never had a sewing studio before, but I had kind of like a sewing studio where it's kind of a similar situation like this, but not really. But it was in New York, in the Bronx, and that's why I don't like working with other designers. If y'all want that story time on the first sewing studio I tried to attain, I'll give it to y'all, but I don't want to get into that right now. So I had never really had a sewing studio, right, other than that experience in the Bronx. So I'm like, oh, you know, that's a fresh start for me. I'm in a new city. People love my work. I'm making money out here. I'm networking. Let me get a sewing studio out here. Let's get this going. So she connects me with the landlord. At first, the landlord told me like, hey, this is the amount for the room, etc., etc., right? So I said, all right, I'll take it. Maybe like a week go by, right, and I'm planning to like get my stuff over there, etc. Elephant hit me up and like, oh well, you know, I wanted to tell you that we're gonna have to share that room, the sewing room. So I'm just like, why would you have to share if I'm paying rent? She's like, oh no, we'll be paying rent together, like, you know, etc. So I'm just like, but for what? Like, there's other spaces. Oh well, the other spaces have been rented out already. So I'm just like, girl, a week ago when I went there, they showed me mad different rooms. Like, I could have literally picked any room, like, you know what I'm saying? I picked this room, like, so obviously those spaces were free then. How did they get closed up so fast and then booked up so fast? And then that's your friend. So I'm pretty sure if you wanted a room and you could not afford it at that point, or whatever delayed you, she would have held it for you or something. I don't know, you're not supposed to in business, but I'm sure, you know, people cut them corners. You plug me in, plug yourself. So she's like, oh yeah, there's no more rooms left, and the room that you chose is one of the biggest rooms, so it only makes sense that we split it. And then we're both fashion designers, it'll make sense for us to have 2 different fashion design rooms to work in the house, in our house, because, you know, people did different things. Like, there were artists there that actually painted, there were musicians there, just different stuff. So I'm just like, she was just making it seem like, trying to sell it to me like, oh, we could just make it a fashion thing, like one whole fashion room, everybody comes here for us, etc. Y'all, this is red flag number 5, and I should have known better, because I already was solidified with my brand. I already had my brand logo, I had my brand identity, I had my brand style, like, I already was established. So now to like tap in and kind of like in a way conjoin my brand identity with somebody else was just like, and share that space and all that stuff was just like, it wasn't something I knew that I was confident in doing, but at that time I had no choice because I was in a bad situation and I needed the opportunity. So I was just like, I guess whatever. So we did that. So we both moved in. We moved in our stuff. We had our sewing studio. I'll show you a little picture here. I probably have a picture right here. I'll show it to y'all. There's my little sewing, little studio corner. And y'all, that house was haunted. If y'all want story times in that house, I needed to leave that house because I like to sew in the night. I used to stay here to sew. This shit haunted as fuck. This shit was in the middle of Portsmouth, and it was a landmark house, so you couldn't change anything about it. You couldn't really renovate it, so it looked like the back in the 1800s. Like, they even had the little house kitchen in the back where the slaves would come in. Like, yeah, it was haunted as hell, girl. Like, I had some experiences in there. It was so haunted. And it was huge. It was such a big house, but it was so creepy. But anyways, yeah, so we moved our stuff in, so we're sharing this sewing space now. So I start, you know, decorating. I have a very creative style, you know what I'm saying? Like, even this, my walls right now, I need to redo them because I think this is so corny and I'm tired of seeing it. But I have such a creative style, so I already started wanting to decorate and do different things. When I started decorating, she kept, like, when I would go and buy stuff to decorate the spot, it's like she would feel offended, like she would feel away. Like, she would be like, oh, you know, like, it doesn't really go with the feng shui. Like, me and her just had 2 different styles. Like, I remember I put like some like pink stuff, you know, I like pink, so I put like some pink fur and stuff like around my window and different stuff. Like, even if it was like, it was just cute to me, like my pink mannequins, whatever. And then she was more like earthy, plant-based, neutral colors. And then I was just like, you know what, how about we just separate 2 halves? Like, you have this side of the room, I have that side of the room, and we decorate it whichever way we want. I had got this guy who was an artist to paint my sewing table for me, put some artwork on there. Like, I wanted to have like a real funky, creative, groovy environment. And she kind of wanted like a delicate feng shui, but I didn't care like what she wanted to do. She was just so concerned about what I wanted to do. And I remember asking the art guy if he can paint my logo on the walls for me, and she felt a way about that. She was just like, oh, that's not fair, because as soon as people walk into the room, they're gonna see your logo all over the wall, and I don't want my logo all over the wall, so it's just gonna look like it's your spot. Like, she was just finding every excuse to cock block me and everything that I was trying to do creatively. And even when I would sit there and sew, there were times where I'm sewing and I feel like she's just watching me. Like, she's not even really working or doing her work. She's just watching me. Mind you, I had my sewing desk facing the window, and she had her sewing desk facing me. Like, there's so many different ways she could have faced her sewing desk. And it was just like, every time I looked over, she's watching me. It started getting weird. So one day, there's this little artist. I was gonna say little. I can't say. I hate saying little about people brands. There's this artist in Virginia. She does music and stuff like that. She's pretty popular. She comes into the art house, and she comes to the art room, and she's like, hey, you know, I heard about you from the fashion show. I seen some of your stuff on the page, and I really like your work, and I have a show coming up. I would really love to start working with you, you know, come with an agreement and for you to start styling me, or whatever the case may be. I love that opportunity because she has a great sense of style. It's a little more eccentric than my taste, but I appreciated her boldness and her confidence and her creativity. So I knew that we would bounce off of each other. I knew that I can make some really great stuff from her, and I can probably be inspired by her too, right? So I was like, hey, yeah, like, I definitely want to tap in with you. Who's over there in the side corner, boombastic side-eyeing us? Miss Elephant. Miss Elephant knows her too. At the end of the day, it's a close-knit community, the black community in Virginia. So I'm just like, everybody know each other. If she's known you for how long, she could have came to you to ask you for this opportunity, but she came to me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Elephant ended up feeling away. After the artist left, Elephant outright came and said, you stole my client. Me? Sarah, I stole your client? Who is this client? I was super confused. She liked the artist. I'm like, that was your client? Wow, because she came in here and she said hi to you, and she came and sat at my table, and then when she was done talking to me, she said bye to you. Like, she didn't have much more communication with you. Oh yeah, she'd been asking me if I can style her, but she never came through, but now she's ready to style with you. Like, come on, make it make sense. She's going off, and I'm not understanding her argument. Like, I'm not getting it. Like, I start getting mad. I start getting pissed off because now all my nerves have been worked. I'm going through everything that I'm going through, and she knows what I'm going through, and I just felt like she was trying to beat me while I was down. Like, it really felt that way. Like, I really felt like she was trying to beat me while I was down. The reason why I say that is because it's like, for me to, if I can only speak for myself, but if I know what somebody's going through and I don't have to make a big deal out of nonsense, I'm not going to do that. So the fact that she was making a big deal out of nonsense and really didn't have any grounds to stand on, I'm like, come on, girl. Like, this is bullshit, bro, and you know it. Like, I didn't steal your client. I don't even know this girl. Like, Naomi is the one that gave her my information to come and check me. You get what I'm saying? Oh, but no, it's just like now every time people come in here, it's like they're coming straight to you, and my work is here too, blah blah blah, la di la, sissy la. Jealousy and envy. That's all I could hear from coming from her mouth. She had no grounds to stand on. So the landlord hears us going back and forth. She comes in like trying to see what's going on. We explain it to her. And because Elephant is her friend, I can tell she wasn't trying to outright say, girl, you're bugging and you're jealous. But she just kind of tried to de-escalate, diffuse the situation. I ended up leaving that night and went back to Naomi's house. And Elephant, whatever, did her thing, went back home. I told Naomi what happened. Naomi was definitely like, yeah, that's giving jealousy. Mind you, Naomi and Elephant's friends. You get what I'm saying? So whatever that means. So the next day I go in to the sewing studio and I see my stuff has been put outside the room. Yes, you guys, you heard correctly. My stuff has been put outside the room. I'm confused. Why is all my stuff outside the room? Now I go to turn the room door, the door is locked. Mind you, we didn't have a lock on the door. I immediately call the landlord because I'm like, wait, it's only my stuff out of here. Did they move Elephant stuff too? And she just, because she lived literally down the street from the sewing studio. That's why I didn't even know why she needed the sewing studio, because she lived in a really big house and she had her own sewing room actually where she did all her art. So she really didn't need a sewing studio. If I was her, financially, I wouldn't need a sewing studio if I had the space at home. But whatever, I do understand branching out, whatever, right? So I called the landlord like, hey, you know, my stuff has been moved out the room. The lock has been changed. Like, what's going on? Because I know I paid. And she's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. But, you know, she's another one. She lived another block down from the sewing studio. She's like, I'll come over right now and see what's going on. So as she comes over, she actually, right behind her, come wobbling in, freaking Elephant and her goofy ass boyfriend, whatever his name is, goofy ass, hating ass, goofy, hating ass, fragment foot, goofy ass. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like the Nicki Minaj rant, because he pissed me. And that's why I would never forgive my ex for that, because, yo, I was here, like, this girl literally felt a way towards me and then brought her boyfriend in to the situation. I had no males around me to defend me, protect me, nothing. Like, it was just me. Like, you feel me? So she's asking them, like, what's going on? Like, asking them. So they're talking about, oh, well, Elephant doesn't feel comfortable sewing with me anymore. She feels like her business won't prosper if me and her is sewing together, and since she's the one that bought me the offer for the sewing studio, it's only right that I move out. Not only did you have the audacity to decide that, you went ahead and touched my stuff and then put me out, and you didn't say anything to me. Like, I lived, I lived with Naomi, so I lived a whole 45-minute drive away from the studio. Elephant lived down the street. So you mean to tell me that after I left the sewing studio last night, you left with me, you came back with your boyfriend, and y'all removed my stuff out the room and changed the locks on me? Like, and you're not even a landlord? I don't answer to you? Channel star. Like, you can't make stuff like this up, bro. Like, you can't. And that's why I realized this is why people go to jail, bro. This is why. Because why are you playing with me? Why are you playing with me? And that's why I mean to tell you, like, people know when you're vulnerable. They know when you're weak. People don't try you when they feel like you're at your strongest. People try you when they feel like you're at your lowest. The same with Big Back, when she stole my stuff and came at me, all that stuff, when I was going through problems with Trinity. This Big Back, basically, after I left the situation, the Big Back situation happened. So it was just, like I told you, it was a messed up year for me, right? I just felt like I was getting hit from all angles. So I'm just like asking the landlord, like, can she do this? Like, is this, the landlord's like, no, she can't do this. Come on, you guys. You know, the landlord, this was her first time, like, owning a property and then leasing it, all this stuff like that. So she was trying to make sure things were going smooth. So they all, like, getting all up in my face. I'm getting in their face. Like, it's about to be, like, me against the two of them. Like, and this nerdy piece of garbage of her boyfriend, he literally, like, I had to ask him, like, you gonna put hands on me? Because he looked like he wanted to hit me. Like, he was getting in my face. Like, he looked like he wanted to put hands on me. So I called the cops. I'm like, nah, I'm not having no grown-ass man. And she's over there hyping him up. She's in the back. Like, she's not in my head face. Me and him are in each other's face, and she's in the back hyping him up. And I'm just like, how did it even get here? How did it even get here? So the cops come, whatever. We discuss the situation. The cops told the landlord, like, you know, whatever lease policy she have, that's what's going situated, whatever. So I told the landlord, like, hey, like, what, do you want me to leave? You want me to move out? She's like, nah, y'all both pay me. Y'all both got leases. Y'all gonna have to figure this out and get along, but y'all can't move her stuff out. Move your stuff back in. Y'all gotta take the lock off, blah, blah, blah. So she situated that. So now I'm in this room moving my stuff back in, and freaking Elephant and freaking Phineas and Ferb, whatever, I'm too stupid, Dumb and Dumber, freaking standing in the corner watching me, talking hella shit. The landlord there trying to de-escalate. I was just like, wow, what am I doing here, bro? Like, I'm in a whole nother state. I'm not with anybody that I know. Me and my boyfriend, we're not together anymore. I'm not even staying at the house anymore. I'm staying at his cousin's house. I just felt so unprotected. I felt so exposed. I felt so, like, I couldn't even feel embarrassed. or sad for myself. I just felt lost and confused and annoyed and frustrated. And I was just like, yo, like, I did nothing to this girl, bro. I did nothing to deserve this to be done towards me. And it just felt like a slap in my face, because it was kind of like, what was the point of you being so nice to me and trying to help me if this was what you were going to turn around and do to me? Like, I would have preferred you left me for dead than to act like you're giving me a rope to pull me up, and then when you felt like it, you just cut it. That's what it felt like. So basically, she told the landlord that we need a sewing schedule, because she's not going to come in there and sew while I'm in there. Don't touch her stuff, because at that time, like I said, my boyfriend had bought me all new sewing equipment in Virginia. But when I left the house, I left all that there. Everything that he paid for, everything he bought me, I left it there. I didn't want any of it. So I kind of only had like what I came there with, like, which was like a few sewing materials, my machine or whatever. So I was sharing stuff for her, but she didn't want me to touch any of her stuff. All this different stuff was going on. And then I just, after like maybe like a month of just straight bullshit, because so much more stuff happened, not only just with Elephant. Like, no, not much stuff happened with her, but when I say more stuff happened with her, was just the side-eyeing and dealing with her boyfriend being there, and just the negative energy for that next month. I didn't see her often, but whenever I seen her, you could cut the tension with a knife. And just being in a sewing room, like, I had to lock up my stuff. I couldn't bring everything that I had to travel with stuff. I didn't want to leave everything. It was just a lot, you know what I'm saying? And then other stuff ended up happening, and I was just like, this is my cue. Like, I need to go back to New York. I need to go back to New York. This is not working out. I'm spending so much money. I was spending money. Remember, I'm traveling 45 minutes both ways by Uber, like, to survive. Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I was spending much more money to exist at that point out there than I was gaining. And I was just like, the stress of it all, and I'm dealing with envious and jealous people. Like, I'm not saying all of them were like that out there, but she definitely was. And I'm coming from a big town. Coming from a big town like New York City to Virginia, I need to come and be able to stand on my own 2 feet, like, and be the leader. Because coming and joining people's posses and do all this stuff, like, that's not for me. Like, that's not anything that's gonna get me far in life. Like, I just felt like, girl, your big mistake was coming out here and just letting these people guide your life. Like, I just felt like at that point, like, I didn't know where I was going, or I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I was just, child, it was the time. So I ended up moving my stuff out a month later, and I moved. It was funny because I actually went to New York to visit my family, and I never went back to Virginia. And then I went back there just to move my stuff out and put it in storage. And my stuff is actually still in the storage out there now. I've been paying that storage for years, and I don't know, like, I don't want to lose any of the stuff there. I know I'm making a bad financial decision by keeping that storage unit open, but I just maybe feel like one day I do want to go back to Virginia and do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe open something or do something. I don't know what I'm trying to do, but nevertheless, when maybe like a year goes by, and you know, me and Elephant, we had each other blocked, etc. Once that first argument happened. A year or so later, I'm looking on my Instagram stories, because I'm one of those people. I look through my Instagram stories to see who's watching my page. I'm not gonna always get to see who's watching my page, but the people who are bold enough to come through their page and watch me, yeah, I'm gonna see you. So I look through my Instagram stories, and lo and behold, who do I see? Elephant didn't come from her regular page account. She came from her business page account, right? So I'm looking on the business page, y'all, and girl, since I left Virginia, this girl has been trying to recreate all of my looks that I made that I presented at the fashion show. So I'm literally seeing Temu versions of my designer gowns, Temu versions of my outfit. And I'm like, because you already know out there they don't have access to like fabric like I do in New York. And she also, you know, she's not plugged in. She don't know that you can go online and get some fire ass fabric. She only goes to Joanne Fabrics. You already know, if you know, Joanne Fabrics is whack as fuck. So I see all this Joanne Fabric, Temu, Shein, motherfucking designs, like my hand-me-down designs, and I'm just like, girl, you tried it. And she's watching my story. But it was so funny because literally, like, as I'm looking at her page, her design page, when I go to look at another picture, it won't refresh, and then it shows that I'm blocked. I'm like, this bitch did not just block me as she's watching my shit and I'm watching her shit. Are you kidding me? Which means I'm not stupid, because I know how to do that too. If you guys didn't know, if you don't want somebody to see that you're watching their story, because obviously I would block her if I seen it, you go on their page, you watch it, then you press block, then it clears them from any likes or watch views, whatever. So she basically probably was always, this past year that I've been gone, the girl that you were jealous of, envious of, the one that you put my stuff out and made it seem like you can't exist in this room with me, side by side with me, all this stuff. You're on my page looking for my designs to steal, obviously, not focused on yourself or your life. Like, move around. So I see she blocked me in the mid. So I remember I still have her number. I still have her number in my phone. So I had blocked her off of my phone. I don't know if she blocked me or whatever. So I had a new number, but I still had her number in my phone. So I go and text her like, "See, weird ass fucking be watching, looking, get fucking life, whore, jealous bitch." She texts me back like, "Oh, relax, I was just showing somebody something, it wasn't that serious, blah blah blah." Like, you even snitched on yourself. Like, you know, these people are from the South, they ain't that witty. Let me not say that, because people from the South don't take that personally. I don't mean it like that, but it's just like, she wasn't quick on her feet when I say that, like, witty. Like, she actually just like was too honest. Remember I said these people are humble. Me from New York, I would have read you down before I admitted anything, please. But yeah, and then I read her down and blocked her again. I was like, stay off my stuff and stop stealing my designs. But I can't help that. What can I do? Like, what I'm gonna go do? Take all the designs that she stole, rip them apart? Like, you can steal the recipe, you can steal the sauce, you can never steal the recipe. You feel me? So it doesn't even matter. Like, make whatever you want. You still won't have my mind, you won't have my hands, you won't have my journey or my purpose. Yours is yours. Me, I can't even pick up a paintbrush to paint a stick figure. I can't draw, but I can design. And I do have a vision. I have so many creative visions. And oh, last red flag. I think we were red flag number 6 now, or 7. One of those. I lost count. One time we had this big debate, and I should have known that she felt a way towards me, because Naomi got us this interview, right? This little interview. I might have a picture right here, right? We did this interview, this green screen interview for like this online magazine thread or whatever. And they asked Elephant like, "Hey, you know, what is your inspiration? Like, how do you design, how do you create?" And she's like what's your palette or whatever, something like that. And then she was like, "Oh, you know, like, first she's like the mannequin is like how she create, that's her palette, she draws, and then she goes to the mannequin and create it, whatever." Me, I learned how to sew the untraditional way. You get what I'm saying? I learned how to sew sitting. I don't know if y'all know this story, but my friend's professor at FIT, I was in a business school, my friend was in a design school, and I wanted to learn how to design, and she used to let me sit in the back of her classroom in her classes. Then she gave me all her hand-me-down sewing equipment from other alumni and stuff. So I learned how to sew in the gutter, YouTube, sitting down with seamstresses and all this stuff like that. You feel me? So when they asked me that same question, I was like, the fabric is my palette. The fabric is what I start with, is what inspires me, because that's my truth. Like, I don't know what I'm making until I see the fabric. I don't know what I'm doing until I pick the fabric. I'm very big on texture, I'm very big on colors, etc. Middle of my interview question, while I'm answering, this girl interrupts me and says, "A fabric can't be your palette. That doesn't make any sense. That can't be your canvas. That doesn't make any sense. How do you start with fabric? You have to do your patterns first. You have to do this." Like, bitch, that's all I wanted to say. Like, just fucking go. Like, just move around, bro. Like, I didn't interrupt you when you were asking your questions, bro. I did not interrupt you, so why do you feel like you can just do that to me? It was so disrespectful. But that shows you that people demons, bro. They hate you for how confident you are. They hate you for loving yourself. They hate you for it, bro. Like, and sometimes they can't help themselves. They can't even hold their tongue. They can't hold their actions. Nathaniel. So yeah, y'all, that was a story time about jealousy and envious bitches. But yeah, you guys, sorry the story time was like a little over an hour long for the TikTokers, but I hope y'all enjoyed all the backstory. And let me know, you guys, about similar stories. And I know I'm probably gonna get flooded with comments about jealous, insecure women, and that's one thing. The first red flag you spot about women being insecure, jealous, run, y'all. I'm telling y'all, run for the hills, bro. She is not your friend. She doesn't have the capability to be your friend. She would not support you. She would not love you. She would not be there for you, and most certainly she would not pour into you. If in fact she will drain you. Please stay away from people who you have shown you instances where they do not fuck with you. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking too fast because I hate these bitches. But anyways, you guys, that's the story time for today. And you know how I like to end off my videos. Y'all, I didn't even do my nails. I was so caught up in telling y'all this story, I didn't do my nails. But I'm still gonna post the information down inside of the bio for you guys, and I'm gonna post a shorts showing you guys when I do it or whatever. But you know how I like to end off my stories. If you guys are not going to do anything else, make sure you do anything else, make sure you all right, I'm dragging it. Make sure you pour into your motherfucking self, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.